Thank you. The idea that we have to choose between health or the economy can only be created by a bureaucrat. It makes absolutely no sense. It's not health or the economy, it's health and the economy. The economy is the heart of the social body. You cannot just stop the heart to try to cure something else. You have to keep everything going. And the other day I was speaking with a cousin of mine who's a doctor, and he said to me, look, we doctors, when you come to see me and you have some illness, or you don't feel too well, I'm going to tell you what you should do is to not go to work, rest a lot, eat healthily, and sleep a lot. Obviously, you cannot do that with everybody at the same time, because you're going to destroy the economy. And this experiment of locking the economy has shown that you cannot just hibernate the economy. The economy starts bleeding because the majority of businesses, as Jim was mentioning, have little more actually than 20 days of cash to survive: restaurants, small shops, etc. And Deutsche Bank was showing that it takes about 20 days to shut down the entire economy, but it takes about 10 times more to reopen it. So the economy is extremely important, and what governments need to do is to provide businesses and citizens with the equipment and with the protocols to address living with the pandemic while we achieve a vaccine or a treatment, in order so that the economy suffers the least. Which countries have done the best? Well, the countries actually that are closest to China. If you think about South Korea, it has 259 deaths, and the unemployment level was published yesterday is at 3.8%. The economy is expected to fall 1% in 2020. I'm not saying that you can compare it to everybody, but you can actually say that the countries that have had a much higher level of economic freedom, a much more bottom-up approach to addressing the pandemic, which is to have social distancing enforced from the very beginning, massive tests, and at the same time preserving the business fabric, have been the ones that have done better. Which ones can we, and actually it's very interesting to put together the countries that are at the top of the economic freedom index in 2020 with the ones that have actually done better. Look at the list. If you look at the list of the countries that have actually done better in addressing the pandemic and preserving the business fabric: Singapore, South Korea, Austria, Switzerland, Denmark. You're talking about countries that have one of their key pillars of addressing the global social and local social problems is by improving economic freedom, and that is the way that we should go ahead. If this crisis has taught us anything, is that the mistakes have been caused by central government planning, and we should not give more central government planning power to address the recovery.
Full of great titles, but I see one specifically that is just out of the oven: Freedom or Equality. Tell us about this new book, because I think it is relevant for the type of conversation that we're having. Indeed, can we have both? Do we need to choose? To what degree economic freedom promotes or hinders equality? Tell us a little bit about this new project of yours.
Thank you very much. Yes, my new book, Freedom or Equality, it talks about all of these topics, actually, and it's interesting that it has coincided with the pandemic, because in the conversation and in the media debates, what we hear all the time are these magic solutions: huge new Green Deals, massive government intervention, Medicare for all, universal basic income, printing money to finance every government spending plan that can be imagined, etc., etc. So what the book tries to do is to give people arguments for that debate. and arguments that show how all of those allegedly simple and magic solutions have very aggressive negative side effects, and most of them actually deliver the opposite of what they promise. So the idea of the book is to give the average reader good arguments for the debate that they're probably living on a daily basis these days. So it coincides tremendously with the message that the Index of Economic Freedom of the Heritage Foundation shows. A lot of the information that we gathered to give arguments to people comes as well from Heritage Foundation papers, and I think it's very important for the average citizen to understand that the way forward can only come from better interaction between nations, from better and more fair trade, as Ambassador Miller was saying, and Jim was also mentioning, and the importance of an open economy, because that's the only way in which we are going to address the social implications of the economic crisis that we have gotten into.